Good evening, the chief guest, the president and the founder and the fellow council members of CPM, the panel of judges, the distinguished invitees, director and the staff of CPM, ladies and gentlemen. We have gathered here to celebrate and cherish the commendable efforts that you have demonstrated in Best Management Practices Company Awards 2024, organized by CPM Sri Lanka. So in next, I would say 9 to 10 minutes, so my task is to share some thoughts. So let me organize that in two broad categories. But before that, let me take this opportunity to wish each institution, irrespective of the category, for your wonderful efforts in best management practices in their respective institutions. So also, I should specifically mention here the collective effort of our fellow panel of judges in this endeavor. So I'm representing on behalf of the panel, so making these remarks. So if I start with the my first segment of the insights. So what is this CPM intervention in organizing this Best Management Practices Company Awards 2024? So apart from what Professor Wattawala said, by looking at the context first, so if we go to so post-pandemic, the setting, so we saw that the new situation demanded for companies to make such calls at strategic level, at managerial, operational level, in terms of their people front, the marketing, the finance, in terms of the IT, manufacturing, and their respective management decisions. So most of the choices that they have to make in such backdrop of economic odds and other challenges unfolding during that period, particularly up to say 2022 to 3. So when you are looking at the context, we saw that some companies were performing, they're capturing the situation very well, and they are taking some calls and managing the context. Instead, some are relatively struggling in that area. So what is the CPM intervention? As an integrative professional body, so we have a dual task of implicit task of bringing the professionalism to the management, at the same time bringing the management into a spotlight, forefront. So we have an implicit task of driving this towards that excellence. So in that light, we have looked at what is the best management practice. So if we simply look at what that means, we can say it's the most effective and practical means of designing and delivering various applications and practices and so on. So in that sense, the best management practices give focus to an organization to specifically look at and also specifically execute the chosen best decisions irrespective of those levels. So in that light, what is our task? So we have created this platform. We invited companies to come forward. Here, ladies and gentlemen, come forward and tell your story, share your story. So tell what you have been doing well. In terms of those grounds, if there are some effective, practical means of designing and delivering of your organizations, this is the time for us to share and of course being recognized for that endeavors. So in that light, what we have done, so the setting criteria, judging criteria is quite transparent to both parties. So the context, that is particularly 2023. So what is the best management practice you have implemented, and how that best management practice has taken you back to business, sustain your business, elevate your business to the next level. Of course, you have to show your execution evidences, and why not sharing the outputs which are measurable and outcomes, the impact, and sustaining those measures into the next level to take the company from this point to the next point. So the panel of judges' task is quite clear. The first 50% is all about looking at that given format of your story, the way you have presented, the way you have given that one distinct practice or structured like a pillar of practices under one umbrella. Irrespective of the category, so you need to clearly articulate this is what the practice that we are doing and these are the results and so on and so forth. So the average marks of that is being collated. Then to an unknown audience, such as panel of judges, So you need to come and tell that story in a distinct manner, clear manner, with a lot of clarity. So that oral presentation as well as the report gave the final collation of the awards categories. So if I start from the bottom, of course, a few companies are disqualified because they are not meeting those criteria. And minimum marks, according to our setting, beyond 50, certificate of recognition, and then the merit awards. So while you are achieving the merit awards, since there are 20 categories, some institutions are coming under category award winners. Then the top 10, you may observe that, then numerically, even though we call it top 10, so there are quite number of companies have the equal marks because of these two combinations. So then top 5, the excellence 5. So we are going to witness in the same hall tomorrow, the best of the best, those 5, they are going to showcase. The difference is that last 2 occasions, it is about the first conference, then the awards, but this time the awards first. So they are eagerly waiting to see your best practices tomorrow. But one thing I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, in whatever the form, you have come forward, you have enough confidence and competence to come forward and tell your story. So therefore, I think you deserve that commendation in terms of coming forward and taking the bold step of sharing the best management practices. In terms of the selection, the judging, there can be differences, but we should appreciate the particular point of highlighting bringing that report and of course into the context of the presentation. There can be variations, that because one might have written the report, another one is presenting, or sometimes there are in comparative issues in terms of bringing the written into a presentation and organizing of your organized thoughts into the context. There is the difference between the best versus the rest. But all in all, you are in the winning category. So with that, may I go to my second area. So ladies and gentlemen, what is the key takeaway from a panel of judges' point of view? So my entrusted duty is to share those insights. So in that sense, may I bring one statement made by one of the prominent Chinese military strategists, Sun Tzu. What he said, the strategy without tactics is the slowest route to the victory. The tactics without strategy is a noise before defeat. So as we know in the management practice, when it comes to management thinking and applications, of course the goals lead to objectives, into strategy and the tactics. Goals are by nature big, hairy, audacious. That is connected with the objectives, that is specific, measurable, time-bound, and so on and so forth. But if you look at the strategy, it is the how factor of methods and the capabilities of achieving those goals and objectives. Tactics are all specific activities to achieve those strategies. Tactics are not the strategies. Tactics complement the strategy. But why I am highlighting this point here, if I connect with apart from what Professor Watawala highlighted from Japanese thinking, among other well-known scholars in the country, the two prominent strategy scholars in the Japanese literature, which we are deeply engrossed, Ikujiro Nonaka and Hirotaka Takeuchi, the two prominent strategic gurus. In 1995, they wrote The Knowledge Creating Company. After 24 years in 2019, they have written another fascinating book, The Wise Company. So they were looking at how these successful companies are bringing continuous innovation into the table. So they have seen that this capturing, disseminating knowledge across the organization is based on the knowledge into action with few companies. So here, ladies and gentlemen, so I want to highlight that as a professional body, CPM has a role to play in terms of finding this synergistic way forward of bringing these distinct best practices and articulating this knowledge dissemination process. That is one of our common overarching observations of the panelists right throughout they have observed. So therefore, I want to invite you, what this initiative is all about, bringing that complementing, space filling towards creating excellence, achieving excellence. Therefore, I want to tell you that we have an inbound duty. So this is not just a noise before defeat. Thank you very much.